How are you all doing? I hope you have had a great morning and hopefully also some lunch, so you are ready for some more food for thought, I would say. And if you would like to have, if you have some questions throughout the presentation, you can always put it in a chat. I'm just going to go through, and I have something very special for you today, quite different than I normally did during those presentations here for Synergy Traders. So I hope you will like it. And yeah, let's get to my presentation. All right. So as a trading mindset coach, being able to present during this conference and share my knowledge is absolute delight for me, especially that this particular conference is dedicated to psychology of trading, which, as you might imagine, that's the topic that I live and breathe every day. And I know that you are all very busy. So I really appreciate you showing up. And I promise that I will make this worth every minute of your time. And you are going to walk away today feeling inspired, excited, and hopefully driven to action. I'm going to give you a strategy and insights to help you transform your trading so that you can move to profitability quickly. And people who will benefit the most from these presentations are traders who are struggling with taking too big losses, with following their plan and their rules, and pretty much repeating the sabotaging behaviors that are very common and very well known to all traders. So without further ado, I got a lot to cover and we have just 60 minutes, so let's do this. That works. So for those of you who do not know me, a quick introduction. My name is Agnieszka Wood and I'm the founder of Ahead Coach and my signature rapid transformation program for traders, the Confident Trader, and also the Trading Mindset Mastery Journey. And you might have seen me on YouTube, and maybe you came across my Confidence in Trading podcast. But if not, I am very happy to meet you today and learn a little bit more about me, but most of all about this very important process that I hope will really help you in your trading. So I coach traders who are stuck in a failing cycle because they struggle to follow their plan and keep breaking the rules, which is one of the main causes of losing money in the market. And I help them to get in control, mostly of their emotions, build consistency, and become profitable. And I started coaching traders because nearly 15 years ago, shortly after I started trading, I decided to become a trader. I've gone through a lot of pain and struggle, lots of money lost. And it took me 2 years to understand that I had to make some significant changes to my trading, or rather to what I was doing if I wanted to make things work. And because nothing that I was trying was working, and I was trying really a lot. I've been trying different strategies, different chat rooms. I've read a lot of books on trading. I have purchased different secret indicators. I've seen a lot of secret strategies, but I kept losing. Nothing really helped. And I was making the same mistakes over and over again. And those mistakes were not something very special. Those are pretty much mistakes that every trader who is coming to me for help now is making. Like, I was chasing entries. I was taking trades without a setup, even though I had a clear plan in the morning. The market opened 10 minutes later. I am on my max loss or even more. And I was taking trades that I have never even, tickers that I have never even heard of. Or I was trading scared, especially after taking big losses. I was just simply afraid I'm going to lose money. And the biggest biggest challenge that I had to overcome holding on to losing trades, or oversizing and just simply following too much the money. So focusing on making money and trying to make my losses back. So I was trading very emotionally. The market was bringing the worst out of me, and I was losing all my profits. So knowing that somehow I had to start controlling myself, because I knew it's not going to work otherwise, I went on self-discovery journey. And I was fortunate enough because I had prior experience as a life coach, and I had background in neuro-linguistic programming. Not only that, I have studied a lot of different psychology-based modalities, and I started looking at my behaviors and what was making me do them during trading. And I discovered that I had many beliefs from the past that were sabotaging me, and that I was replaying some of the patterns that I was using in my daily life to achieve my goals, that they were making me fight the market all the time. For example, I had a very strong survival mechanism that I developed throughout my life, like starting when I was 3 years old. And that was not letting me take a loss. And I would just not give up on a trade, even if it was hurting me pretty badly. That was just one example, but there were so many more. And what became very clear to me is that my problems will not go away unless I will change those automatic responses to the triggers that market was firing off all the time. So very soon after I started the process of becoming aware of my beliefs and begin to change them, then I noticed the changes in my behavior and my approach to trading overall. And my account started to show it. So I've been trading now for over 10 years. And the only regret that I have is that when I started it, I did not inform myself properly about how emotional game trading was. But even more importantly, how deeply into the psyche it goes. And it would have saved me so much money and so much time and pain. But the past is the past, and here I am. So everything turned out well after I did the work. So let me show you how I did it. According to research, these are the emotions that are deciding about your success as a trader. And 85% of traders fail due to poor risk management and emotional trading. And risk management, even though this is something that you can learn, unfortunately, when emotions are high, that's the first thing that goes out the window, right? The desire to make money, the fear of losing it, or fear of not being able to make money, that all shuts down the rational brain, and all the rules, including the risk management rules, are no more in focus. And still, to this day, most traders and trading educators are focusing on the technical side of trading mainly, or in the best case scenario, tell you what to do. Like, you have to be disciplined, you have to be patient, you must follow the plan. But what they don't tell you is how to do it, what steps to take to do it. So you are trying to make some changes and constantly failing, right? Because you just keep giving in to your emotions. And then you go back to your old bad habits and keep wondering, what is wrong with me, right? But you can relax. There is nothing wrong with you. And even better, the bad trading habits that most traders fall into are pretty normal and quite logical, frankly. And I will explain it in a second. So today, I will share with you the how. And I will show you the steps that I took back then to change the course of my trading for good, and that now I use in my paid coaching programs to help other traders to get out of the failing cycle and go from red to consistent green. This is a very unique approach because the results of this process actually last. Once you go through it and implement the steps and do the work, there is simply no going back to the old you. But you have to do the work. Without your action, your consistent action, there will be no results. It's not some sort of magic pill. It's just like with losing weight, right? It's not one and done. You have to keep working on it to stay in shape. So as I said, it's very normal that you get emotional when trading and make not the best trading decisions. And that's because the market is triggering your automatic responses and you act accordingly. After all, nobody likes losing, right? So what happens is when a trigger fires off, some sort of event happens. So let's say you took an unwanted loss. Then you are simply reacting out of your automatic program. And because you are not aware of that program, it's subconscious, you just act whatever that program tells you to do. And it is a reaction that you are replaying over and over again, like a programmed machine. So the question is, how do you change that? And can you change that? Well, yes, you can. That's the good news. And the second good news, and maybe the more burning question is, how? There is a way to change that. And we all know you cannot change the market because we have no control over it. It is as it is. But what you can change is your reaction to the trigger. You can change the reaction to what is being triggered inside you so that you can stop reacting emotionally out of your automatic programming. And the thing is that I want you to understand is that nothing helps to stop trading emotionally and to gain control like going to the origin, like to the beginning, to the source, and disarm your mental triggers. That's the most effective and long-lasting solution. And you can do it by following 3-step process. So just 3 steps, very easy. The first step is building awareness. It's about recognizing how you are being triggered and what automatic response is being activated. Then you move on to step 2. You discover what is your narrative, like you're finding out what is the belief behind that behavior and what is fueling this automatic response. And then step 3 is shifting your mindset, which is really about changing the belief that you found out, that thought that directs your sabotaging action. And then this way you change the pattern of your reactions. If you put it in simple terms, shifting your mindset is really about shifting your focus from one to a new point of attention. From the thoughts that are not working out for you right now to thoughts that promote acting in your best interest at all times. But in order to do that, you need to first understand what those not working thoughts are and how they influence your trading decisions right now. And this is the same process that I teach in depth in my coaching programs and personally guide my clients through it. And today, you have the opportunity to experience it firsthand. And if you are interested in more guidance to implement those steps, I put together a series of emails with specific tips on how to implement them. And it's completely free. So if you click on the link, and hopefully David can put it in the chat room, it's also on my website, aheadcoach.com. But if you scan the QR code and register, you can immediately get your first tip. And then after that, you will be getting emails with specific tips on each and every step. So I guide you through implementation of it. Thank you, David. I appreciate it. So I'm very excited to get right to it, and I hope you are too. And in fact, I want you to get the most value out of your time here. So if you grab pen and paper, because after I will take you through all the 3 steps, we will do an exercise together. And this exercise will help you discover your mental triggers, and you might begin to see some positive changes in your trading right away. So step 1, this is about building awareness. And even though it might not sound like much to do, right? It is really incredibly profound, because you cannot change what you are not aware of. It's so simple. Awareness is very different from knowing. This is the work that you do using your mental muscles. It is about finding out how the market triggers you when you are trading, and what it is that it's triggering you and what it triggers. So it is really becoming aware of what makes you repeat the same mistakes over and over again, how you sabotage your trading. So incredibly important first step. And I am not talking about your behaviors, like you say, oh, I know I overtrade. No, the overtrading, FOMO, chasing entries, those are what I call symptoms of the underlying issue. And the underlying issue is the belief. That's what I'm talking about. The automatic pattern that is active on a subconscious level, and becoming aware of it is bringing them to light. Because if you're just treating the symptoms, they will keep coming back, and you will be going back to your old behaviors. There's one more thing to building awareness. It's learning to recognize where you are with your attention. Where is your focus at all times? What is your point of focus? Just like right now, you're listening to me, but where are your thoughts? Are you thinking about this afternoon, or maybe what happened this morning, or maybe what the market is doing? What's your point of focus? Becoming aware of where you put your attention allows you to intentionally place your attention on the thoughts that serve your interest, especially when you are trading. Most people have their attention all over the place, right? There is so much stimulation these days, and people, we all have busy lives, right? And traders, well, most traders place their attention either in the past, ruminating about the losses or what happened yesterday or the trade I didn't take, or the future, thinking about all the things that will be possible when that trade I'm in works out, or how great it will be when I will make all that money. Either way, most traders who struggle focus on making money. And when things don't work out very well, the focus turns onto either blaming the market or blaming yourself. And you know what happens next, right? If you can recognize in the moment where your thoughts are and then redirect your focus, you can change the course of the events that follow. That is your response. You can get in control of your response. So let's just do this small exercise, okay? Just take a comfortable position, whether you're standing or you're sitting. And if it feels comfortable for you, close your eyes just for a moment. And take a deep breath in, and then breathe out through your nose. And while you are breathing out, bring your attention to the air coming out of your nostrils. And feel free to do it a couple of times, like in and out. And put your attention exclusively on that air coming out. Feel the temperature. Feel where exactly do you feel it, how strong it is. Maybe there is even a sound to it. Okay, and now bring your attention to your thoughts inward. and notice what is passing through your head right now. What are all the thoughts that are in there? Got it? And now open your eyes and look at me. And only focus on what you see. So bring your attention outward towards me. Got it? So now bring your attention back to your thoughts while you are looking at me. Can you notice your thoughts? Is it different? Try to switch back and forth a few times to notice the difference. And if you can point the attention inward and outward easily. Now look at something else in your room, an object, and bring your focus to that object and do the same thing. Just focus on the object and now bring your attention back to your thoughts while looking at the object. And now switch. So now bring your attention back to the object, away from your thoughts. Okay, great. So you can open your eyes and you can let me know in a chat how it went, whether it was easy for you to switch. Did you even notice that difference? How was that to play and intentionally place your focus on different things? Placing your attention, thanks, Greg. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Not easy, right? It's because we are often so just taken by our thoughts. And, you know, if you have never intentionally pointed your attention, this might not have been an easy thing to do, because most of the time our mind is the one that takes over and puts our attention basically according to the point of attraction that is screaming for our attention the loudest. So you can only imagine how important it is. And Tim is asking about the application of it. When you are trading, it is so important that you place your attention on the thoughts and on the things that you want, that you focus on the chart in front of you and not on the thoughts that are passing by through your head, especially when you are in the trade. When you are in the trade, you are executing your plan. There is no time then to think about the losses from yesterday, or whatever you think is going to happen with a trade. So most of the time our mind takes over, and if you are in charge of your focus, if you can choose what place you put your attention on, you are in control. You are the one choosing the thoughts then that are serving you the most in any given moment. And as you can imagine, thoughts that are not serving you are all the ruminating thoughts, for example, that you have. Or if you are in a trade and you start telling yourself a story, imaginary story, that the trade might turn around and then you cannot lose and you lost yesterday, and like this whole narrative. So once you learn how to point your attention with purpose and be flexible in switching, then you can so much better observe what is going on in your mind without getting caught up in the mix of your thoughts, without actually identifying yourself with your thoughts, especially those that you have about yourself, because those thoughts are making you emotional. So going back to my slides. So let's go back to that trigger, right? When we said that when trigger fires off, you simply react to it, right? It's pretty simple. But there is something important happening in between these two. And because it happens very quick and it happens on a subconscious level, most people are not even aware of the process that it happens and how it influences their actions, or I should say reactions, and therefore also their decisions. I'm going to go through the questions afterwards so that we just go through the steps. I want to make sure that I cover that, and maybe in between some of the question will get answered. Is that all right? No, it's fantastic, and I love that you're asking questions. I just would like to see if maybe some of them will be already answered in between. Is that all right, Tim? Thank you. So if you want to stop reacting in a certain way, in a way you always did, and it is not working for you very well, you want to find out what is happening here in between. That is, what is the program that you are running, and then reset it. So you want to become aware of that subconscious program, and that's the step one. But what is it that you are supposed to pay attention to exactly? Start noticing the thoughts that are popping up right after the trigger is fired off. And especially the thoughts that keep coming back. So pay attention to those repetitive thoughts, because those are forming the patterns. Those thoughts that you keep thinking over and over again, maybe you recognize that there are some thoughts that are coming back as a boomerang, right? That you almost say, oh my God, I have already thought about this. How many times am I going to think about this? Because these thoughts are the code of the program you're running, but they're almost like this broken record. It's like this circuit, and they stop you from moving forward. You're stuck in that circuit. And those are the thoughts that are actually the beliefs that I'm talking about. And we have a lot of beliefs, and some are stronger, some are less strong. We build beliefs throughout our whole life. In fact, any thought has the potential to become your new belief. All it takes is if you keep repeating it often enough and you find enough evidence to convince yourself that the thought is true, even if it isn't. And that's the interesting part of about beliefs. The beliefs do not have to be true. Regardless whether they are or not, we identify ourselves with them, and then we consider them the truth. And then we defend them with all our heart if someone is trying to say something against those beliefs. But we forget that every belief was once just a thought that we began to think. And the beliefs that we are particularly interested in are limiting beliefs. Because if you have empowering beliefs, great, keep them, don't change them, make them stronger. But you might have limiting beliefs and you don't even realize it, that they limit you, because they are simply the truth to you. Things like, I am just this way, or things are just as they are, right? They are a certain way, and you're just like, okay, there's nothing to be done about it. This is what I believe. The limiting or sabotaging beliefs are simply thoughts that are telling you to do things in a certain way or to think in a certain way that might be not in your best interest, or that prevent you from doing something that might be actually to your advantage. That's why they're called limiting beliefs. For example, if you believe that you have to work hard in order to succeed, it might not be very easy for you to step away from trading when things are not working very well a certain day. Or even if there is no trade to trade, there's simply no setup, you might still feel that you need to do some action, and you will be forcing it. You might be trying to control the market because you believe that success is in your hands as long as you put effort into it. You see how that works? And how do you know that you have limiting beliefs? How do you discover that? In fact, it is much easier to identify than you might think. Just take a behavior that is sabotaging you in trading, that causes you to act against your interests, such as, for example, removing or not even placing your stop order and exposing yourself to unnecessary risk. And once you have that behavior, just ask yourself, what do I have to believe in order to act that way? What makes me act that way? What am I believing? What am I telling myself? Easy, right? And that's what brings us to second step, which is about discovering your inner dialogue, your narrative. It's about where you put your attention. What is it that you are focusing on? What is it that you are telling yourself every day, every moment? Because we have a lot of thoughts, 70,000 a day. That's a lot of thoughts. And what are you telling yourself, especially when you are trading? What do you tell yourself about yourself as a trader, about the way you trade, and about your success in general? And this is the step where you will discover a lot of limiting beliefs, I promise you. Even beliefs that you think are not limiting, they might turn out to limit you immensely. And when you discover how your narrative limits you, so what are those limiting thoughts, then you can simply stop them from limiting you. Here is how your narrative impacts your behavior and why that is. So after the trigger event fires off a thought, something more happens before you react. Anyone an idea what happens there? Let me know in the chat if you have an idea. What happens between having a thought and having a reaction? All right, I'm going to give you a hint. Yes, very good. Emotion. An emotion comes up. Depending on what you tell yourself, what thought gets triggered by the event that happened, you will feel a certain way. And then you act based on how you feel about what just happened. It's very logical. And how you feel is decided by the exact thought you just had, by the belief that you have about what just happened. So when you keep telling yourself you are a loser after you just took a loss on a trade, and by the way, thinking about yourself, I'm a loser, is a very, very strong limiting belief about yourself. So on your identity level, affecting much more than just trading, most likely. Or maybe you're questioning whether you will ever be able to make it as a trader. And you will simply, like when you think those thoughts, you will just feel miserable and you will not have the confidence to trade with success. So when you expect yourself to fail, you will most likely fail. Or if you, for example, keep telling yourself that you simply cannot lose more money because you have already lost out so much, right? You will obviously start protecting yourself from losing. This will be just your automatic response to protect yourself, even if you are in a winning trade. So as a consequence, you will be cutting your profits short, or you will be staying in a losing trade for too long because you cannot lose, eventually taking much bigger loss than you can afford. So to change your responses to a trigger, what you want to do is to focus on changing not the response, but your beliefs and your thinking habits, what's coming in before that is connected to the certain events, such as losses. And that's the last step of the process. That's the mindset shift. The mindset shift is about shifting your focus away from the limiting thoughts towards the thoughts that empower you and work in your best interest. So that's also where you, after you practice shifting your focus and attention and directing it intentionally, this is absolutely necessary for you to be able to shift your limiting beliefs. So instead of automatically reacting to whatever happens, when you shift your beliefs, you can choose the thought that is needed for you to achieve the results you want. And when you do it often enough, when you constantly choose a different thought following a certain event, just like with your current beliefs, this new thought will become your new belief. And that's where a lot of people at that point ask me, so I tried affirmations and they do not work, right? Remember that affirmations are also just, right, it's just a thought. But the important part of the belief and the affirmation is that you actually start feeling it. So when you change your beliefs, it's a combination of placing your focus on what you want and then creating this emotional experience. And this way you can replace any limiting belief with an empowering one. Because when you have, let's say, an affirmation, you pick an affirmation that you know it's not true, your limiting belief will tell you it's not true and you will know it. So it is also, what thought can you pick that you will not be able to debunk, right? That your limiting belief will say, oh, that's not true. How can you formulate it so that it will be easy for you to actually believe in it and to stand behind it, so that it can become your new belief and that you will feel integrity with it. And if you think now, I don't think so, I tried it, doesn't work for me. Well, this seems really difficult. Anyone having those thoughts? Because that might be exactly your limiting belief speaking. Developing your mental awareness will help you identify your limiting beliefs first. And then when you are aware of them, then you can start the process of shifting toward a complete new mindset. Can you just imagine the freedom and the feeling of control that you have when you are able to choose your reaction? You're able to choose your response instead of just simply reacting to something. Whether it's in trading or in life in general, can you imagine the empowerment when you are in such control? So these were the 3 steps that transformed my results from red to consistent green, and worked for many other traders that I coached over the last 5 years. And again, if you would like to go through this process and get more guidance on how to implement each step, make sure that you sign up for the free Mindset Tips email series. Again, it's completely free, and you can just click on the link in the chat. David posted it earlier, and or you just can scan QR code. Very easy. Or you can go to my website, aheadcoach.com, and you will find it on the homepage down below as well. So we have enough time because I wanted to do an exercise for you so that you get really the most value out of this hour. I thought I will give it to you as a homework, but we have enough time. So this is an exercise that will help you start the process of building awareness of your mental triggers. Isn't that great? Are you guys ready to do that? To find out something about yourself? That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, great. So grab your notepad and a pen, and we will go through. So, and if you do it after, just to give you, like, if you don't feel like doing it right now, you can do it after. And by the way, you can do it for so many scenarios. So this is a good anyway. Like, set a timer. If you're going to do it later, set a timer for 10 minutes. Leave your phone in the other room. Put some good music on that will get you in positive mood and make you feel comfortable. And you are going to use the questions that I'm going to give you and write down the first thought that pops up in your head. And remember, there is no right or wrong here. Just trust your gut. And grab the first thing that comes up. And here are the questions. And I want you to take also a snapshot of the next few slides here so that you don't forget the questions if you want to do this later. Ready? So the question number 1 is, list 2 most common issues that you struggle with in your trading. And we will call them symptoms, right? These are the symptoms we're talking about. So for example, let's say you jump into a trade prematurely without confirmation. And obviously, if you do it on a regular basis, it's an issue, right? So maybe possibly you have missed a trade or maybe lost money on previous one, or you have been sitting watching the market and you're bored. Does that sound familiar? So grab a snapshot of the slide. I'll just give you a few seconds to do so and to write those 2 scenarios, or 2, sorry, not scenarios, the 2 issues. And here are the symptoms, here are the issues, just for inspiration. Oh, I'm sorry. I did not share the... Thank you so much for telling me, Tim. Look at that. So I'll go back. Okay. So here. So this is the first, these are the first questions. So the most common issues that you have, that you struggle with in your trading, okay? So here are the possible issues. So either breaking the rules, maybe FOMO. Just put it down. And back to the questions. If you want to take a snapshot. And once you have those issues, write down the scenario for each one in which your issue takes place. What is the exact situation? What happened prior to this situation? Just write down a few things for each scenario. I'll give you a few minutes. And if you have anything that you would like to share in chat, or if you have questions, feel free. All right. So next up is, now list how that makes you feel. Just write down the emotions that you are feeling when the situation is happening. So in our example, now that you lost some money on the prior trade, you may be feeling frustrated, or maybe you're disappointed because, you know, it's again a loss, right? And all you want is just, I just want to make my money back. Whatever it is, write it down. Got it? And again, you can go through this also later on. So just make sure you have the questions. And the next one is about the story, the narrative that you are telling yourself about the scenario when it's playing out. So that the internal dialogue that you are having with yourself to explain, maybe to justify, or to prove yourself right, possibly. So just write, what is the narrative in your head when the scenario is taking place? What is it that you're telling yourself then? And in our example situation, you might be telling yourself that there is always another opportunity and you can surely make your money back. Or you might be telling yourself that you don't want to finish your day red. So, you know, especially if it's like another red day, right? So you figured out that if you take a trade even before the entry triggers, you can make some more money than when you wait for confirmation. And maybe it will cover not only your loss, but you will also make some profit. So what is your narrative? And then once you have that, because the stories, they can be beautiful. We have a huge imagination. So we tend to tell ourselves a lot of lies, unfortunately, that we don't believe or make ourselves believe, right? And then the last one is what I call the $1 million question. What is the leading thought in that narrative? So here you focus on what causes you to tell all this to yourself. What is that main prevailing thought in that narrative? And when you identify it, you will see that this thought is the actual trigger, not the event, but that thought that makes you jump into a trade without confirmation, or possibly even might trigger all other sabotaging behaviors. So that's the thought we are looking for, the leading thought in that narrative. So take a few minutes and see if you can identify it. Ready? So now when you reflect on all the answers, on everything that you wrote, this will help you understand what is happening on a deeper level in your mind. The great news is don't overthink it because that's what will sort of cloud everything. You will start justifying things or making new stories. Don't make it too complicated. Just really take the first thought, just trust it. First thought that comes up, even if it doesn't make sense at first. Just write down what comes up. And it would be even better if next time that the scenario is happening, so for example, when you trade, that you will answer those questions and write the answers then. And that's where journaling comes very handy, that when you trade and you start journaling, you can actually spot the thought right there that makes you take actions and make decisions that are not in your interest. Remember that the quality of your questions determines the quality of the answers. So if you are not asking the right answer, it will be very challenging for you to find the right solution. And those questions will help you to get to the bottom of your struggle. The solutions are usually very simple, but we like challenges, so we look for the complicated ones. And the reason why most traders cannot get past their struggle is because they keep asking the wrong questions. And most traders are asking the question, why, and not the how. Why did I do it again? Instead, how did I do it? How did I do it so I can change that? So I wanted you to do this exercise to show you how easy this process can be and how quickly it can be done. Do yourself a favor, and if you haven't done this process right now with me, do this today so that you can begin working on disarming your triggers. Your narrative, your internal dialogue is so important. I cannot stress enough how important it is, how your awareness of it is important to your success. Because when you control your narrative, you don't have to control your emotions. That's the beauty of it. Implementing this 3-step process brought consistent profitability to many traders in a very short time. And I assure you, it can do it for you too. So you can get in control. You can start following your trading plan with ease and finally see your account grow. I hope that this presentation was helpful to you. And please feel free to reach out to me if you have any trouble asking the right questions. Remember, you have all the answers in you, and there is no one else that can give you better answers than yourself. It's just a matter of asking the right questions. And if you would like to connect with me, here's my info. You can always find me under on Twitter, and I have a lot of free content also on my website, aheadcoach.com. And yeah, so I will let's see if you guys have any questions. I will go through the chat room. Thank you so much again for your time and your participation. I'm gonna go back through the chat and see. Tim had some question here. So Greg said such an easy way. After we had this exercise, Greg said it's such an easy way to bring awareness and feel like something I could practice and get better at. Like Tim says, can see its application. Oh, Tim said actually I can see its application. It's funny because I thought Tim that you said I would like to see its application. That's where I just you see that's the reason why I said I will answer questions later, because I just glanced with corner of my eye. Yes, my mind is the battlefield. I feel you, Anne, because my mind was battlefield years ago as well. And it really takes practice to start, sorting and shifting and actually intentionally place your attention. Meditation is a great way to do that. It's not just to keep you calm or whatever, but the biggest part of the meditation is so that you learn pointing your attention and bringing it back, constantly bringing it back, so that you can actually get in control of your mind. That's the mind work, right? That's the mental work, so that we have such a beautiful tool in our head that we can use to our advantage, but most people unfortunately don't. So those 3 steps will really help you to change, change so many sabotaging behaviors and bring peace, not just into your mind, but into your life as well. Just being much more in control of your reactions, but also how you communicate with others. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of changes. And some of my students who are here, thank you so much for supporting me, can tell you how big change this process makes, not just on trading, but also in their life. So Tim said, then would it be okay to be in emotional thoughts, which could be empowering and create great clarity? Absolutely. That's the whole power. If you have empowering thoughts, they bring you into a certain mood that you feel almost, like more powerful than, and feel like you can cross you can cross bridges that maybe before you didn't feel like you can. And building that feeling starts in your head. Like I teach how to build momentum, and also in that email series, there is part of it, like how to build a momentum for empowering day, for your performance in trading, because it all starts every day in the morning. And having empowering having the emotion next to the thought, that's what gives it extra power. And that works for negative thoughts that bring you down, but it works for empowering thoughts that lift you up. I hope that answers your question, Tim. Thank you about the comment about my podcast. If you guys have never heard my podcast, it's Confidence in Trading. Feel free to check it out. I hear positive reviews about it. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Tim. Fantastic. Thank you, Dennis. I knew it was I was reading wrong as you had to split your eyes. Yes, that happens. You see, that's I try to really focus on one thing that I'm doing, putting my attention where I need it to be. So it's a head coach or a head. Well, it's sort of both, because when you learn the process, you are actually becoming a coach of your own head. Thank you. So yes, it's a head coach, because being in charge of your own head and coaching yourself constantly, learning how to coach your mind, how to coach your thoughts, brings you ahead of your reaction, of your automatic responses, and brings you ahead of others as well. So you progress and move faster towards your goals, because you have this extra advantage and you know how to use this remarkable tool, our minds, that we all have, but not many are using to the full potential. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, what I shared with you today. So I really hope you got inspired and you will check out more of my materials, and hopefully also connect with me. I'm always happy to hear from you guys. I'm on a mission to bring the question how to the trading world. So feel free to reach out. I'm here for you to help. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, David. Oh, thank you, Basha and Daniel. Thank you, Sammy. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Hi, Gary. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all, guys, and have a great rest of the day. I think you get some few more presentations, so happy learning, and focus on what you're seeing, and then later on do the exercise again and get through more of your sabotaging behaviors or your reactions, your symptoms, so you can start discovering some limiting beliefs and start to empower yourself. Thank you so much, David. Are you there?
Yeah, great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.